Hello, and I'm delighted to welcome Thomas Luke. And Thomas is the winner of the keyboard finals at the BBC Young Musician Competition. Literally happened just back in May 2020. So very exciting to have Thomas here. Thomas, hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. So really delighted to have you here on board, and I'm sure many would find it very interesting to kind of have these insights from someone who is in the middle of the really big competition. So tell us, what are you sort of working on at the moment?
At the moment, obviously everything is kind of stopped due to the lockdown, so I'm taking the time to just kind of explore a lot of new repertoire. It's the Bach C minor toccata, what I've been looking at today. It's good fun.
Fantastic. And just to understand, so basically, of course, the competition is stopped and you just don't know when it's going to continue, right? So it's not no kind of firm goal for you at the moment.
Yeah. The rounds some rounds have already been filmed, but obviously nothing's happening now until
Sure.
lockdown can be eased. So, yeah.
So how do you motivate yourself when there is not a kind of an immediate goal in front of you?
I don't really find that I need external motivation, because I think for me the joy is just in playing music, and that's always going to be there no matter whether there's an audience or not. So in that sense as well, taking the time that lockdown's giving us just to kind of step back from the rush of concerts and things is quite refreshing, I think.
Gosh. But tell us a little bit, you mentioned this rush of concerts. So how many concerts were you doing before the lockdown?
Gosh, it really depends. I do quite a few kind of smaller ones, maybe just in my school or around local places. A few big ones as well. But a lot of it stopped now. So yeah.
Sure, but you mentioned as well that you sort of don't really need motivation. That's really amazing news, and I'm so happy that you feel that way. It's very refreshing. I'd like to ask. So basically, what is your routine now? Has it changed from before, or is it the same?
My routine, it's really not changed that much. I think actually, if anything, the fact that school is now at home is somehow meaning that I have less time to practice than I normally would.
Oh, really?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, usually I would practice in school break times, and I have free periods where I can practice, but now they've compressed the school day, and it basically means that I have less time in effect somehow. But yeah, I try to do the same amount of practice.
And what is it, the same amount of practice?
I mean, usually it's about 5 hours, sometimes less, sometimes more. It really depends. I think I'll just do as much as I have time for, really.
Sure. That's very interesting, though. And since when you're doing these hours? I mean, it's quite a number of hours, I must say.
Yeah, I didn't always do as much. Certainly when I was younger. I think when I first started, I wouldn't even practice every day. Probably did like 20 minutes every other day or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah, I started kind of around 5 hours. I started doing maybe a couple of years ago, I guess.
So when did it become serious for you then? Straight from the beginning or a bit later?
I don't think there's actually been one defining moment where I've kind of decided that piano is the one thing that I want to do. It's just kind of, it's always been there throughout my whole life, pretty much like since the age of like 3 or 4. So of course there have been moments in my life where I've kind of realized how important it is to me. And it just kind of reinforced the belief that piano is the one thing that I care about the most. But there hasn't been one particular moment.
Right. But how did it develop? So when did you actually kind of think, oh, that's really cool. I kind of I'd like to spend more time with this instrument.
So it started when since I can remember really, I would play games with my grandfather on he had an electric piano and an organ as well. And we would play games kind of just doing like up and down C major scale and things. I think it's called Mouse and Lion or something. And that was kind of the first step I really took in an interest in piano. And then after that, I heard my sister, who just started lessons. I heard her in a lesson, and I instantly thought, I want to do what my sister does. So I just kind of begged my mum for lessons. I think I was about 4. So, and we started out with like 15-minute lessons because I just couldn't concentrate for very long.
Yeah, sure.
And then, it got longer from there.
Oh, fascinating. And do you remember what were your first pieces?
Oh gosh. I mean, my very first pieces were probably just, really simple middle C kind of. I think I remember one piece was a good fun was it was called Trombone Man, I think. I still remember how to play it now, which is quite boring.
Well, that's advice. So the Trombone Man will get you as far as the winner of the keyboard finals at the BBC Young Musicians. Well, no, that's fascinating. And look, did you spend time in sort of playing scales a lot and arpeggios and these sort of things, or did you enjoy it? Maybe, some people do.
I think it's actually a learning curve when it comes to playing scales and arpeggios. It's very easy to just zone out and but that doesn't really do you much justice in the fact that I think the key benefit for me is the mental aspect of it. So I still do play scales and arpeggios and things, but I think only recently have I started to realize how to get most benefit from them, which is in the fact that whilst you're playing them, you need to be really engaged mentally in kind of monitoring everything you're doing and checking, all aspects of your technique. It's quite useful.
So please, everyone who is a bit of a, let's say, younger player, an aspiring player, please listen to Thomas, because this is exactly the word that everyone wants to hear, I think. That's brilliant. And of course, then when you do engage mentally, then you find that you can play all these kind of pieces better and you tackle them better, right? Did you find that you improved, your technique improved afterwards?
Yeah. I think my technique seemed to kind of improve quite slowly at first, but in the last, I'd say maybe 5 years or so, it kind of got exponentially better, I guess. But certainly that one of the things that's really crucial is what I got from playing scales and things is that awareness that you always need to have of your body, and every part of your body as well, not just your arms and etc., but like down to whether there's any tension in your mouth or crazy things like that. They all have an effect. So yeah.
How are your legs behaving when you're nervous? Are they doing some funny things, or
I mean, when I'm playing, my legs generally do what I want them to do.
Good, because my don't. My left hand is completely, not left hand, my left foot and my left leg, it's basically out of control completely. It's shaking. But
I mean, before I perform, my legs kind of, I have this kind of fidgeting. I can't sit still. But when I play it settles down.
Good. Yeah. Well, fantastic. And so you've quite tricky pieces. I mean, especially Ravel, requires some very sort of special technique. So did you find you needed to play any specific exercises, or what were the kind of most troubling, let's say, things in playing that piece?
The Ravel Une Barque sur l'Océan.
Yeah.
I think that was a piece I kind of really took to from the start, actually. And in some sense, the technique almost followed. I've always found that my technique generally follows the musical ideas that I have. So if I instantly connect with a piece like that, the technique, I'll find a way for it to become consciously or subconsciously. It will get there. I think the hardest thing with that piece is probably the fluidness and kind of really mimicking the water in all of those arpeggiated figures. But I didn't work on anything particular when playing that. I guess playing a lot of arpeggios helped.
Yeah, but what composers do you find most challenging, let's say, to play?
I think all composers have some challenging aspects to them. For me, I think actually, if there's one composer that I'm never satisfied with how I play, it's Beethoven.
Mm-hmm.
I just never feel like I can truly get inside the music in quite as much depth as I'd like to. But I'm going to keep working on it. But yeah, I think it really depends on the individual piece as well.
Sure. That's very interesting. But so do you have any favorite composers?
If I had to narrow it down, maybe top three, I think, would be
or five.
Rachmaninoff, Prokofiev, and Bach are kind of my three idols, I guess.
No, it's brilliant. And how do you choose pieces? Do you come to your teacher and say, I'd like to play this, or is she basically telling you, okay, we now must do this and this and that, or is it a mix?
It's a mix of that, really. Often you'll suggest some pieces for me to go and listen to, or perhaps think about learning. Occasionally, I will just come randomly with a piece and say, can I learn this?
Right.
Yeah, it's generally a broad mix of.
And are you a quick learner? Let's say, what was the fastest you learned something?
I mean, it's weird when we say to learn something, because it's kind of an infinite process. You don't get to a stage where you suddenly...
You got me there. That's a very good answer. Really fantastic answer.
Well, yeah, I mean, learning the notes is one thing, but that's not really playing the music. To play the music, you have to had it for a long time and really get to know it deeply. I think
if we're now talking to, let's say, to our younger audiences, I think they would be very interested in still the answer. What was the fastest you learned the notes? Let's say, yeah, let's.
Oh gosh, I mean, generally not too slow, but I can't think of a specific piece that I've learned quickly as such. Don't worry.
It's fine. But some people are incredibly quick and some people are quite slow. So I thought if you're a quick learner, then maybe you have something to share.
I mean, before lockdown, we would. Well, I would go on my own actually now. But I go every Saturday. It's kind of my favorite day of the week. It's really refreshing.
Right. Gosh, but it's quite a journey, right? So it's a full day you're there and then back, yeah?
Yeah, it can be anything up to, I guess, 8 or 9 hours, kind of both ways. It really depends if the trains are delayed as well, and obviously weather, boats permitting, it can be quite annoying sometimes, but it's worth it.
And what are your favorite subjects there?
I think aside from just solo piano lessons, chamber music is something I'm really fond of as well. And likewise choir, because both of them involve working with other musicians, which is something pianists don't often get to do. Well, personally not as much as other instrumentalists. So I think it's really important and really inspiring to work with such amazing other musicians. You can get so many ideas from them.
Yeah, no, I totally appreciate. And now I just wanted to ask you, you seemed very confident when you also gave interviews for the BBC and also on the stage. So are you a confident performer, or are there nerves playing beforehand, or?
I think playing the piano, I'm generally not so concerned about. Interviews I'm terrified of, to be honest.
You're doing very well. Really amazing. Well.
I think playing the piano comes quite naturally to me. So in a way, I don't feel like I have to be someone who I'm not. Whereas in an interview, you do have to talk and try and put your thoughts into human words, which is something I find hard quite a lot.
You're not the first one who tells me about this. I find it very interesting that somehow musicians, they are used to express themselves better through the music than through the words. And I totally understand. And it's very nice you say this openly. I think many people appreciate that. So let's come back a little bit to your routine and the way you practice. So can you share, how, let's say you have a new piece. So how would you tackle it? You have any sort of tips or as I said, routines, the way you do it?
I don't have a specific routine for learning a piece. I think the most important thing for me is connecting with it, and kind of understanding musically what it has to say and what I have to say through it. And then after that, as I kind of said earlier, I never try to separate the musical ideas from it unless there's something really annoying technically, which I just have to work on. Generally, I think when you learn the musicality with the technique, what's necessary will, they'll almost bounce off each other, and it will kind of form in all of the right ways, I think, for me at least.
Very, very interesting. And coming back to your younger years, you're still very young, but still. So do you remember your first public performance? How did it feel for you?
I remember one when I was 6, I think. Yeah, I was in year 1. And it was at a local music festival, I think. And I played Dance of the Penguin. And yeah, I really enjoyed it, actually. I remember walking off and just kind of having that buzz that I got from an audience, which is still present always today. So yeah, not much has changed.
Yeah, sure. Also, I wanted to ask you, have you done any grades? And did you do every single grade exam, or did you just skip something?
I did most of the ABRSM grades. I think I skipped 6, I think. But yeah, and then I did the ABRSM as well. But I haven't done one for a few years now.
Okay. So, and how was it? Challenging, stressful?
I didn't find the playing that difficult, actually. I think I just didn't like the fact that we were being examined, which examinations are kind of an objective thing. You're marked against criteria, and really there are no criteria that you can mark for music, so it just never really made sense to me, I guess. And I kind of always had a problem with that. But yeah, I mean, as far as an exam can go, it was fine, I guess.
Oh, I'm sure some people think differently, but it's good to have your own opinion. So really, one of the kind of last few questions, if you don't mind. So what would you recommend now for anyone who is, let's say, an aspiring pianist, but doesn't have any concerts to play?
You mean in terms of what they should do in the meantime?
Yeah, what they should do in the meantime?
Take this time as a blessing, I guess. It's the first time in goodness knows how long that musicians have not had any concerts to play. So treat it as a new experience and a new opportunity to kind of take the time to explore and not be scared to waste time, I guess.
Okay.
And try things out, definitely.
Oh, sorry, it leads me to my next question. So what exactly are you trying out now?
Well, as I said earlier, I've just been working on the Bach C minor toccata, Rachmaninoff second concerto, and Chopin etudes. Yeah, I kind of covered quite a broad range of pieces since last time I started.
Yeah, fantastic. Also, I wanted to ask if you are listening to anything online, any broadcasts, any shows, any concerts?
Yeah, I do like to listen to online kind of live stream concerts. I think it's quite, it's a nice, I mean, obviously nothing compares to a live concert, but it's nice to still have the element of liveness to it, and have something to look forward to, in the same way that you might kind of, get hyped up about going to a real concert, I guess. I've enjoyed the Wigmore Hall live concerts. they've been good. I listened to Stephen Huff's one the other day, and the park was really amazing.
Well, Thomas, really absolutely delightful to chat to you. I hope that everyone at your age is as wise as you, who is playing. At least you come across as a really very, very, very kind of clever and inspiring young musician. And I wish you all the best. And I'm sure our listeners have enjoyed this interview as much as I did. So thank you very much, and all the best of luck for your future career and your future life.
Thank you, and thank you.
Thank you.